because I realized that what was living behind that boy's eyes was purely and simply evil.
You thought the game was over, but it's only just begun.
Welcome to the Massacre. No one safe. I hope everyone's having a fantastic day today. So we're going to be talking about Saw X and where this whole thing is going, if this movie is a success, and where the next chapter of this franchise can continue. I think there's a lot to go over here with the success of Saw 10 and what they have done so far, and what, installments could they make next? What is on the list right now? And I think there's a few different options here. The why Saw X is so successful right now is, I think, you're at a stage in the world right now with a lot of the die-hard Saw X fans that gore is appreciated, and plus a story that really has given probably the biggest twist in horror history, more of like a puzzle horror film that connects in so many different films, and they backtrack and they go forward and they go in all different directions that kind of drives us insane. And then when you get to the end of the film, of each film, it just connects so well and everything makes sense and it just works in so many different ways. Josh Stolberg, the writer for Saw 10, had a lot of things to say on Twitter. I think after the first night it was out, and he had a bloody good time. And let me tell you, he had a lot of good things to say, and this really just surprised me. He said, my first certified fresh movie, and the fact that I got to watch with so many amazing friends and colleagues tonight, I'm in love with you all. Thank you so much for being there and sharing this night with me. Love, and just wait for Saw effing 11. They were to make a Saw 11, which I think when you look at the budget for this movie and how much money it made literally in 2 days, Saw X made $30 million, literally almost $30 million, and the budget for Saw 10 was only $13 million. So they have made well over what they have spent for this film, and I guarantee you that another film will be made. I think there's a few options for installments. Some make sense, maybe some don't make sense, but I think there are a few things that, I think Kevin Gruter can really put into a nice trilogy. Maybe he'll make 3 films, I don't know, but they would have to act fast if they really want Tobin Bell to be back because of his age. And, they have to get this thing moving within another year to see if they can really continue another story. Whether it's another prequel to another Saw film or maybe a sequel to the final chapter. I heard people talking about that, which, they can go down that route. But I think they want to use more of Tobin Bell and bring Jigsaw back, because I think Jigsaw is the main part of why this movie makes a lot of money, and going back to its old roots that they really did in this past film we just seen. If you guys remember from the interview from like a week or two ago, when Kevin Gruter was asked the possibility if they could actually make a movie without Tobin Bell and would it make sense, they said that if they moved on from Tobin Bell, it would have to be a very significant actor that they could hire. Like when you replace Tobin Bell, it's not that easy. If you're going to make a brand new Jigsaw, it has to be the right actor that has a very good reputation, and it is going to have a good story, background story behind that character. If you're able to make a new Jigsaw just in general with this franchise, they're going to have to literally not screw it up, because if you screw up the beginning of a new Jigsaw type character with an awful backstory, you can mess this thing up very easily. So if they move forward with an idea that just doesn't make sense or doesn't really pull us into that new Jigsaw character with a new actor, then things could turn upside down pretty quickly. Moving forward, I think what's best is that post-credit scene with Mark Hoffman. I think really that post-credit scene really turned heads for a lot of Saw fans, especially when we all cheered when that post-credit scene came up. Mark Hoffman showed up, and I gotta say, I think this opened the door for Costas Mandylor and his character of Mark Hoffman, and then you can really make a pure Mark Hoffman slash Jigsaw movie if that's the way you want to go. I think really going between Saw 2 and Saw 3 as another Saw 11 prequel film, between those two movies would probably make more sense, since Mark Hoffman was involved in a lot of the traps in Saw 2 and kind of moving down the line, and Amanda and Hoffman not liking each other but working together. And before, when John gets more sick down the line, I think they can create another game or something behind the scenes that we have not seen. But the story has to make sense at the end of the day, like it has to connect. And I think with Saw X, it did connect a lot. I think that was a perfect placement movie with the story between Saw 1 and Saw 2. And I really think they could do something between Saw 2 and Saw 3, something extra, a different game, something that happened behind the scenes that we don't know of. This way you could bring Amanda back. Mark Hoffman could have a bigger spotlight. And to be honest with you, even from Saw X, as much as he only had one little part in this movie, he was involved in the film because, John Kramer was on the phone multiple times in the movie, and obviously finding out where these con artists are in Saw 10. And because Mark Hoffman works for the police force, he could find out, who all these people are with, the extra access that he has with the police. I did Saw X back in 2004. From the critics' standpoint of the film, really didn't like the movie because the reviews were god-awful bad from the critics, but the fans loved it. This was the introduction to gore, pretty much. And at that time, when really movies of that caliber were not being made, people thought it was disgusting, it was satanic, it was... The critics now in 2023, those critics are probably so old or passed away at this point. New critics from Saw 10, this is a new generation of fans now, because now we're used to seeing a lot of gore in a lot of movies. You look at Terrifier 2, you look at how, small films that have low budgets are starting to put these and push these movies in theaters, and directors are willing to take the above route on really extending over the line in horror and really crossing that line where it really freaks people out. For Saw X to come out, this was the perfect placement for it in this generation, because seeing movies like this, they just make a lot of money. That's just the truth. I think the writers are on board for this film, and Josh Stolberg and Peter Goldfinger. Not only that, but for this movie to be successful, Kevin Greutert knows this franchise.
Well, I've always felt, when I work on a Saw movie, that there's things about the franchise that I love, and there's stuff that I don't like as much. And my idea has always been, do more of the stuff you like and do less of the stuff you don't.
Okay, he was an editor for this franchise since the first film, became a director for Saw 6 and the final chapter. As long as we have a perfect director and perfect writers that are going to consistently go from movie to movie, I have no issue with it, because they understand the story. They understand how to connect from one movie to another. Now, it's not like this Saw film is going to be connected to Saw X. I think when you go down the line of, what they could do here, I think making another prequel sequel from Saw 2 to Saw 3 in the middle there to make another story, I think would connect well, and I think they could be very creative with it. Because in a lot of trilogies, guys, and I think we all know this, when you switch directors constantly, and it's not like it's not a success all the time, but most of the time things are changed dramatically when you switch from director to director to director. But with the Saw films, I was so impressed with how you could change directors, and everybody cared about this franchise so much that they would connect movie to movie to movie, overlapping each other in stories and twist endings and all this great stuff we get out of a Saw film, which really excites us. I think this is a perfect time for Saw to be reborn. And obviously with Tobin Bell, they cannot waste any time on this. They can't waste 3-4 years down the line. Tobin Bell is not a spring chicken anymore. He is 81 years old. He totally killed that. He just killed his, just did a fantastic job on playing his character once again. And I think it's really his best performance I have seen in a Saw film for a long time. Let me know what you guys think about a new Saw film. Where would you put it? Would it be after Saw X? Would it be between 2 and 3? Would you want to continue off the final chapter? Do you think this is the perfect moment for Mark Hoffman to really have the spotlight with John Kramer and Amanda, where all three of them could be in a movie, which would make sense between Saw 2 and Saw 3. I think that would be the best option here. So you guys let me know. If you last this long in this video, make sure you subscribe. Make sure you like the video as well. Been covering a lot of Saw news. Can't wait for other others, and very excited to see what happens down the line and how much money this thing makes. So you guys enjoy the rest of your day. Keep running, and I'll see you guys on the next one. Peace out.